Yo, what's up, good people? The boys from the Phantom Geek Zone, we're back again with another dope episode for y'all. As per usual, I'm Izzy.
I'm Real.
And we're going to be continuing with our MCU recap series. You know, today we're going to be breaking down Shang-Chi.
Look, kind of a full circle moment for us here.
Yeah, on the one end, was it the very no, wasn't the very first?
I think it's episode 1.
Damn, So yes, you're right. The very, very first episode we reviewed is this, you know. And I mean, in case you're not aware or you're asking yourself, so why the hell are you reviewing the same episode twice or the same movie twice? But basically, I mean, back then it was a real-time review. Yeah, it had just dropped at the cinema. And later on, then we decided, okay, let's actually do a recap of the entire MCU. So, of course, a couple movies going forward will be stuff that we've reviewed before, which I guess will make that question even more interesting than we tend to ask, which is, how does it live up and all of that.
So I don't know about you. I didn't look at that last video because I didn't want any
influence. I was actually going to get to that on some, if people want, they can then see what we say now. We said then, and like,
are we
you guys are fake. You said this back then, and now you say, so, well, it's like, hey man, we're human. We're allowed to grow. We're allowed to change our minds. But yeah, I think nonetheless, it'll still be an interesting thought to have.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, basically now it's with this chronological order that we're doing. We are officially in the post-blip era. Post-Endgame, post-blip era. Thanos, Infinity Stones, all of that saga is now done and dusted. And we're getting into the aftermath of all of that. Yeah. Given that basically all the movies from here onwards are post that, I just want to kick off by saying, firstly, I didn't watch all of them, even when they dropped. Majority of them, of
not
course.
Not in real time, at least.
At any point. To this day, there's like 2 or 3 I still haven't seen, but the most I have. And I don't know how you feel in terms of how they handled the post-impact of the snap. I feel like here and there, it's a
they name drop it.
But
I don't know. Like I don't have any hard feelings about it. And like it's also they're introducing a lot of new and different concepts, where in phase 1, 2, 3, and 4, phase 4, Yeah, I think so. It's all been Avengers, Earth, no other people. Like, yes, you've got your Asgards, but it's just one out of many. Your Guardians, and they've got their own worlds to care about. And it's you're kind of seeing that now in the new post-Endgame characters. So like Shang-Chi and the Guardians, they're guarding the Dark Gate. And Eternals at some stage, they've got Celestials and they've got their own thing. So like I can see how it is a throwaway for these new characters, because the center of their universe isn't the same center of universe for all of us.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see where you're coming from. For me, it was just an interesting thing, especially now that, again, we're watching all the movies, and so it's like, it feels as though everything should tie in a lot more than, back then in real time. This one is dropping here, and then this movie is dropping there, but then it's referring to old events and that sort of thing. So you weren't really following it in that sense. Now it's stuck out a bit more, and I feel like I understand your point, especially when you talk about, other world beings. But for me, Shang-Chi as an example is like him and a lot of the other characters here, they were on Earth when that happened, but it didn't really feel like this thing is, being brought into the mix. Not that it necessarily, took away from it, but it was just an observation that I'd made, and I noted that there's hardly any movie that really delves deep into it.
But I also see it like you don't need to. It's in the name. It's Endgame. It's done. So
fair enough. I guess it'll also be them not necessarily moving forward. And holding themselves back.
Like
to
that you leave to Captain America. Like he doesn't move on. So,
I got you. Cool. So I guess then getting into the specifics of this particular movie, how did you feel about it overall this time around?
Yeah, I still really enjoyed the movie. I don't know if I felt the same way, but maybe it's because I saw that one in the cinema in IMAX and just the beautiful visuals of it all.
Yes.
But I still think fight scenes held up really, really well.
Yeah.
What I really appreciated this time around was actually the music.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So
Okay.
it's obviously music. You know, it's something like By the By. If you hear it, you hear it. If there's iconic ones like a Pirates of the Caribbean, you know it. But here, the hip hop influences at the beginning in San Francisco was really cool. How it fit into the characters. What I also really enjoyed was how the story was told. So with the flashbacks, so like they'll give you a bit of the flashback, but not everything all at once. So you're always like, okay, cool. Yeah. So I really enjoyed the flashbacks and how they told that story.
Yeah.
Yeah. So those are like the main ones there for me.
Yeah, I think similarly for me, I did enjoy it, but I noted that maybe not quite as much as I did initially, and I wasn't quite sure what to attribute that to. But you then mentioned like the IMAX and all. I'm like, okay, the visuals hit you a lot harder.
Yeah.
You know, the last time around. So that of course would have been an influence, but still had the same amount of highlights, you know, still hit the same high points overall as far as, you know, the fights, the visuals.
Even
like,
the acting, you know.
No one came through like slacking or anything. It was all on point. And I love the fact that, again, in light of the order in which we're now watching them, this is, look, the next few that we're going to do, they almost take place kind of simultaneously. Like there's no real
I know what you mean,
chronology to them, but for all intents and purposes, as far as how we're reviewing and releasing these, this is the first, you know, post-Endgame movie. And what I appreciated is the fact that it was so far removed from all the Endgame stuff, and it felt different, but in a good way.
Yeah, it felt fresh.
Yes, and it despite knowing exactly what's coming down the line as far as the movies that are next, gave me some hope.
Yeah, it was a good starting point.
Yes, it gave me some hope that, because obviously, dog, look, you're killing Iron Man, it's Thanos, you know, the conclusion of his story, all that stuff. Like, there were so many high points throughout, and now it's like, where do you go from here? And this feels like such a nice and refreshing, you know, change of pace.
It's also a new character. You probably would never...
I'd never once heard of him, you know? And so everything just being so new, so fresh, but being so dope, it felt like, man, y'all haven't missed a step, you know, so...
But also, I really liked Marvel's, like, they admitted to their mistakes as well.
I will say, right, speaking of that, one, we touched on the fight scene, so we can expand on it now. Easily the most graceful fighting style of all the movies, you know, before or since.
It's clean.
It's clean. But also like the smoothness of it, like there was just something, man, to it.
Especially when they were in the village, and I guess for me it's like an homage to like those old school kung fu movies. So that was really cool to see. Like, you know, it really highlighted, you know, Asian culture, maybe specifically Chinese culture, but also gave you know, a good insight as to the movie culture as well. Because you get those fluid scenes of the fights and they're whispering around.
And then like the leaves are like flowing around.
And there's like typical like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Literally, because they'd fight and they'll do those scenes where it's almost like someone is like levitating basically. So like incorporating all of that, because outside of this, of course, our greatest fight scenes would usually involve Captain America. It's either him himself or in his movie. But those were like more militant, hardcore, like, you know, but this is like a contrast to that, hence my use of the word graceful, you know, and it was such a joy to watch. But at the same time, you could tell that, man, these are some powerful ass moves that are being thrown around, you know, and there's a subtle spectacle to it. As much as those are, you know, contrasting, and it's an oxymoron term, but I think you understand. When you watch the fights, you're like, that's exactly it, you know. So I appreciate that quite a bit. And then, what was the other point you mentioned just before I got into the fights now? Okay, I'll see if it'll come back.
But it escaped me as well.
Generally, the whole thing of the homage to, like, you know, the old school, like, you know, kung fu movies. I enjoy that. Even in the storytelling itself, like it felt like it. Look, of course, we're not of the culture, you know, but we grew up on the movies. So certain tentpoles that are always touched upon, we saw coming through here. You know, it's like the tradition of long ago there was this, and then it's the artifacts, if you will. Remember down the line when they got to the village and they were showing the carvings on the wall, telling the stories,
Yes,
like,
yes.
all of those things just coming together. We spoke about how the fight scenes were choreographed and like, how nature comes in and how people are moving as they're fighting, all those different things. The dragon, I mean, a lot of elements like, man, it felt...
I was wondering when they were going to actually call it a dragon, because it's always the great protector.
Yeah, the great protector, And I mean, dragon is not like some, trademark word or anything like that. So I think, I enjoyed seeing those elements. It brought you back to those old school movies, and it didn't feel like a caricature.
Yes.
It didn't feel like they were mocking it.
It highlighted it.
They got, we know, of course, Michelle Yeoh. I remember the last time you were telling me about her, I was like, oh, okay, I remember the name, but I don't really know about her and so on. Since then, I've known...
You see, like, she's been in Hollywood.
She's everywhere. Everywhere all at once. Like, she's been, in everything, everywhere all at once. And now there's a greater sense of appreciation when I see her popping in. And I think you told me about the dad as well, that you thought he's also... or maybe knew of the dad being like some...
It definitely seems like he's been around.
Yeah, I don't recall him, specifically in the movies, but I think the interviews kind of touched on it, which is, how I remember it coming out the last time.
Look, they like in all movies, like say for Black Panther, where they had John Carney.
Yeah,
there's probably like really big Asian culture phenomenon.
Without a doubt.
Yeah, that we don't know of.
Any other interesting things that you want to point out from this?
I think for me, it's just how good the chemistry was between Awkwafina and Simu Liu. They're like, I don't know what dynamic. I don't know if it's brother sister or like, you know what I mean. And then they purposely kept it like that. I definitely feel, but just their chemistry and friendship dynamic was really cool.
Yeah, it was pretty insane, man. And also for me, speaking of Simu Liu, he was like, this was the first time I had seen him in anything.
Same.
And I mean, if you haven't seen anyone in a particular character, it of course makes the buy-in a lot easier. So watching him, it's like, hey, this new character, what's going on? Okay, let's check. Because I remember there wasn't a great sense of urgency or even passion to go and watch this. It was more like, hey, okay, it's another Marvel movie, cool. Because I know nothing of the character. But I mean, throughout the entire time, man, like, homie just came through so dope. Even that contrast that they did of, he's like just a valet, like, okay.
Yeah,
cool.
that swerve at the beginning was good.
Yeah, dog. And then on the bus, like, they're like, hey, man, give us the pendant. And he's like, hey, I don't want any trouble. And the next thing you know...
This guy can't fight.
Dude, not only can he fight, but even that first punch was like so insane. He like went for the guy's stomach and then he even looked at Awkwafina on some, the secret's out. And she's like, what the... Like, it wasn't that... The thing where, if someone tries to rob you, you can throw a little punch like defending yourself. It wasn't that. It was, hey man, I do this. Yeah. I do this for real. Like, and I think the overall choreography, as far as like the tight space that you're in, but making use of all of it.
Was brilliant.
That was quite insane. They still could have given us a dope fight with just keeping it in the passage, so to speak.
But they took it to that next level.
Dude, he's like grabbing the rails. He's like, literally. I mean, even he was feeling himself. Like at one point, you see like he does the little thing with the jacket, And there's one point, it reminded me of even with Jackie Chan fights. There wasn't much use of props and surrounding items as such, but the one part was where they were fighting, and then his jacket like kind of came off, and then he's like doing it as part of the fight, and then he puts it on while they're fighting. So I'm like, yo, Jackie did quite a few of these type of moves as well. And what a way! I mean, talk about introducing a character. It's almost like the second introduction if you think about it, because there's the initial one with the valet, and then now there's this like, oh wait a minute,
what you see and what you're getting.
Yeah. Nah, that was a pretty sick one. We spoke about the dynamics, right? So there's him and Awkwafina.
Yeah.
Then him and the dad.
Yeah. I mean the dad for me just the acting I think stole it for me.
Yes.
The like he's like delusional but sane at the same. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yes, you know what I mean? Like he has his wits about him, but there's his unicorn.
As they say, the duality of man.
Yeah, so he brought it to the table, like just like the desperation Yeah.
I especially appreciated how throughout everything there was this, to your point, this calm and calculated demeanor every step of the way. You know, I mean, even before he was like possessed by the monster.
And that's the thing, like he was never came across as evil.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you think he's the bad guy. He's not really the bad guy.
Yeah, it's a protagonist, antagonist.
Yeah. He's not the antagonist in this case. He's just someone with a different purpose.
Yeah, it's like the opposing. Yeah, that's what I'm like. It's like more of an antagonist as opposed to like the bad guy or the villain type of thing.
Okay,
you know, so yeah, and I think again on the acting, the fact that they didn't have him go the typical route of being like the wild and loud madman, like I want the power, I want this. He's like the whole time like,
and he's like
this calm swagger, like he's so chill.
What is his line? Like, I'll let you live your life for 10 years.
Yeah, now you must that's enough. Come back, like, and him saying that lets you know that you weren't hiding as much as you thought. Like, you change your name, that's cute. Go valet, and I mean, there was that speech that he and Aquafina had because Katie is a character. Because they were lectured, if you will, by their friend. Talking about, they're like, what happened to you? He's like, I grew up. They're like, wait, what's that supposed to mean? And I mean, the fact that they even took it as a shot speaks to the insecurity behind the choice of lifestyle, if you will, because they know that, man, at this stage, we're capable of so much more, but we're slumming it, basically. Yes, we're happy in a way, but
we're not fulfilled. Yeah.
We're not living to the best of our potential. And of course, for him, for Shang-Chi, it's because of the stuff that he's running away from.
Yeah.
But now with the dad throwing that line so casually, you realize that, oh, damn, he was like, okay, I'm going to let you be, I'm going to do my thing, but I'm only giving you so long, So I think, that adds again to that cool, calculated demeanor that he just carried himself with. He's like, I know exactly where you are, I could come and get you whenever
honestly,
I want.
I really appreciated that they killed him off.
Yes.
And like they didn't reform him.
Yeah, and you know me, man. Like I'm all about just going right there, going
and like
crossing
it's
the line.
wild because like Shang-Chi's seen both his parents die in front of his eyes.
Dude.
Yeah, like the depth of the character of the man.
That was pretty insane, man. And I think it would have felt a little too cliche to be on some. Oh, damn! Now all of a sudden they make up and they get back together. The other dynamic to highlight would be then him and his sister.
Yeah.
And talk about like
rough.
A twist also,
turbulent,
like nice and early. Like I did not see that coming because of course they painted it as though he's just the only child and
he's the one who fights and
The next thing he's like, nah, hey, gotta go see my sister. He's like, wait, your sister? And we're like, oh, your sister? And in your mind, you're gonna think, okay, sister's somewhere, damsel in distress, he's gonna go save her type thing. And fam, she's got this Fight Club empire that she's running. Like, yo, we got Ronnie Cheng as the right hand there. Shout out. I don't believe I knew him when I first saw it. So when I was watching it again, I'm like, wait a second.
Okay,
Ronnie Cheng, because he's also elevated quite a bit over the last few years. So again, that whole thing of man, bringing in the Asian folks and all of that. Also the from like different parts of Asia, basically, because he's specifically from Singapore.
Okay.
Ronnie Cheng, and I mean they even made the joke earlier when they were like when Shang-Chi was being bullied in school.
Oh, Korean,
and dude was like, Gangnam Style. He's like, hey, I'm not Korean, you idiot. So it's like just showing that, man, there's layers, there's different shades.
They don't all look
to this. No, are they cut from the same cloth type thing? And so I was like, and I love it, man. When there's, I mean, if you want to talk Black Panther and similar movies, there's always that thing where it's like not just Black Pride, but just that in your face and unashamedly so about it energy, and that was their way of bringing it through. And I was like, I see the subtle hints and jabs, and I absolutely love it. But back to the sister's empire, she's like running her own thing in a similar manner that Shang-Chi was like, hey, I'm gonna go build my own life. She's like, I'm gonna go do that. But you also see how she is coming at it from another angle where she's harboring a lot of resentment, understandably so. Because I
wants to prove her dad wrong, basically.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of the times there's still that strong patriarchal aspect, to the culture as far as, nah, the main which is why he wants the son back. I mean, the daughter, it was more just for the pendant in order to, you know, get the access codes. But the son is like, hey man, you must take over my empire. And she's like, you've been doing this to me since day one.
I did like her story. It's like how she was always ostracized and then finally got accepted and like and how accepted by the Great Protector.
Also did it on her own. You know, from a child, it's like, okay, if that's what they do, I'm going to follow. Like,
what is it like when she was talking to Aquafina when they first got back? And it's like, you were 16 and you started a fight club?
Dude, like crazy badass, you know? Yeah. And even Aquafina knew that, hey man, I saw this dude lay out some crazy fight moves, but I'm still gonna bet on the girl to win because you know there's that thing also. I'm guessing you know the girl power aspect is coming through, but at the same time you see what she's built, so you're like, nah, she's obviously not someone to try forward. So yeah, with her, he not that he didn't earn it, but it's like the dad kind of coaxed him through everything and coached him and all, but she was like, I'm gonna do this on my own, and then to see where she ended up with it is admirable in its own way, and at the same time you can't blame her, for harboring all those feelings. Because again, it's like, fine, homie was running away from home and what was happening there, but in doing so, he abandons the sister, and there's like no attempt at all to like
reconcile or tell
reach
you
out
okay,
or look for her. Like, that was pretty crazy actually to find out. Again, that's why I'm like, that was quite a dope twist, but I remember feeling some sense of disappointment throughout. I'm like, again, back to the dynamics. They focus a lot more on him and Aquafina, which is cool. And then, of course, there's a story with the dad and there's issues with around the mom. But I'm like, the sister, man, they just reconnected. I thought there'd be more there to explore and dig into. Until then, I saw the end credits.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, okay, she's now officially taking over the 10 rings. I'm like,
and then she straight up lied to her brother saying she's closing it down.
Yeah, she's like, nah, I'm going to go shut this thing down. And she's like, nope, we're going to keep it going. So,
and I'm going to do it my way.
It added an excitement to, now they're going to dig into her story, And of course, they haven't done anything in, how long is it now? Like almost 6 years,
2021,
basically. Yeah. So, but yeah, that's a whole other thing.
That's just Disney churning out too much content.
But yeah, man. I guess the end, the fight there at the end, homie then comes through. He wants to destroy the village because he's now so convinced that, hey man, my wife is in there, and even all the cathartic moments that came up out of there. We spoke about how they didn't have a sense of purpose in their lives.
First of them returning home, they didn't have a they don't have a home. They came back home.
Yeah.
So that was cool, just how they accepted into the community, and then all those insecurities that they had coming in were kind of addressed when with their people. With the sister training with the people.
I mean, even how the aunt brought her in, it wasn't just let's train. She's like, hey, over here we do it differently. We train everyone equally. And I'm like, addressing the one chip, or the biggest chip that she's been carrying on her shoulders.
And even with Shang-Chi, is like, you need to find out who you are before you can.
Yeah, she's like, something along the lines of like, we fight with the spirit of, those that came before type of thing. Even when showing him, their way of fighting.
You have to accept both your mother and your father.
The good as opposed to running away as he's been all this time.
Even Katie, like, she never took that step forward, and the one time she did, she saved the world.
Exactly. Like, that's why I'm like, the different cathartic moments. And I mean, if you think back to that conversation again with a lawyer friend, she was like, you guys have so much potential, but it's like you're afraid to pursue it. And you then get to a point where everyone is pushed to, that level of potential that they possess. Then again, the fate of the world is, at stake type of thing. So there's
kind of have to do something.
Yeah, you can't just be dilly-dallying around. But what a way to just bring it full circle and for multiple people. I like that aspect, actually. It wasn't just about, the main guy, and then everyone else is kind of in the same place as, where they were when the movie started. Because, taking it even further with Aquafina, Wong then came and fetched both of them.
Yeah, he's like, I need you as well.
Exactly.
I was like, okay,
yeah. So again, they told a great story, but they of course left, a few breadcrumbs there that we were still waiting.
They left a lot of nice breadcrumbs as well.
Yeah, man. But I was like, why the hell? I mean, taking this long to release anything is one thing, but not a single update, like not nothing, I mean, the director even ended up getting shuffled, he's now going to be directing, or I guess he did direct the new Spider-Man movie.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So, yeah, that's of course going to make for some interesting fight scenes at the very least. But there's no direct update as far as, Shang-Chi itself, which, again, in light of the direction that the movies took, is adding a bit to the frustration.
This post-Endgame MCU is just, there's been a lot of behind-the-scenes drama.
No, listen, bear with us,
Movies have been cancelled. So...
Again, you gotta bear with us throughout the regurgitation of a lot of the rhetorics, because we're getting into the rough period, of the Disney era. A primary reason, of course, being, this was just after Bob Iger left, and then through another Bob, I forgot his surname, as the CEO. And that's where a lot of the weird decisions had come through. As much as we tend to look at Kevin Feige as the guy, but during this phase, he even got stifled to the point where he threatened to resign, But for now, we got a solid product, definitely happy about that.
Yeah.
Any shortfalls you feel like, this perhaps could have been done better?
So for me, it was just like, I think because it's like shot, I don't know if it was shot for IMAX and it's supposed to be like 3D. It looks a bit weird on TV, on the rewatch.
Yes.
It looks a bit,
CGI.
Yeah. So that's the only thing, but that's because I'm watching it at home.
Yeah.
Not how it's intended to be watched. I think that's it for me. Like, I don't have any.
Yeah, I definitely picked up on that as well. And again, not necessarily to say that it's a perfect movie, but if I said this once, I've said it 1,000 times. But even if there were some shortfalls, nothing necessarily worth writing home about or going crazy over. It's like
the story was well done. Like there's no
the pacing was dope,
and nothing made you confused about the story. Like everything was sequential and made sense.
Quite easy to follow, especially for a new character, and also the fact that introducing someone this late into the game, because we're now talking about like the 20-something movie that they're releasing, but still nice, easy to follow type thing. I remember, even at the cinema, I went with a friend of mine who's like not even like a Marvel person like that. So it was like, let's just go watch this movie and whatnot. And for someone outside still be able to enjoy it, it tells you quite a lot as far as how well this thing was put together.
It's one of those. If you like an action movie, you've got it.
Exactly.
If you like mythology, you've got it.
Yeah.
And then,
there's not much beyond that, as far as any other things to mention,
we have to go through the cameos. We haven't gone through those.
Yeah, I was gonna touch on that. Starting off with our good old boy Trevor.
Trevor Slattery.
Trevor.
I feel like Ben Kingsley loves this character.
Yeah,
the way he portrays it and just loves being. He's like he's on his De Niro type,
just
era of
having
his
fun. Yeah. Like he's done the serious movies, and he's historical figures, your Gandhis and whatnot. The mob bosses and everything.
Now he can just be the chill dude.
Just relax, get paid tons of money, go say a few flubby, funny lines, half of which he probably doesn't understand because they tied to some other weird stuff, and then he just goes home and enjoys the rest of his day.
I liked his story and how they told it.
I've certainly come around on him. I wouldn't lie. I was no fan, man. When Iron Man 3 first dropped, the disappointment that I felt, I can only imagine for the hardcore fans, And then before we continue with the cameos, right? Quick diversion while we're talking about fake Mandarin. The one thing I didn't like was. Also, this movie was like basically probably the best use of retcon that we've seen in the MCU.
Yeah.
At the very least, somewhere up there, but I can see that easily being number one. Because look, with juggling so many movies at the same time, some things will fall through the cracks. There'll be continuity errors and whatever. And so a few were addressed in this one. The main one, of course, being the whole notion of the fake Mandarin.
Yeah, and the Ten Rings. Yeah.
And the story of the Ten Rings itself. So I appreciated the Ten Rings side of it. With the Mandarin, the only issue I had is that when he was telling them the story, he then wanted to ridicule the other Mandarin based on Mandarin being a fruit. And for me, I'm like, but it's a Chinese language as well. So it doesn't necessarily diminish it. Like that for me just felt... It may be semantics, but it felt weird.
It was just appropriation, bro. It's just appropriation.
So then say that, but to say that now they're scared of a fruit, and I'm like, no, you can't diminish. It's Mandarin still does mean
But also,
something.
you must understand, like certain cultures in the world are not as smart as you think they are. They only know Mandarin as a fruit and not a language.
But he is not of that culture.
No, he's not.
So,
but the intended audience.
I suppose. Okay, I see what you mean. The people watching. Okay, fine. All right, fine. Maybe I am being.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just
too smart for my own
maybe,
good.
but maybe I'm also just trying to make people feel better.
No, I'm with you because I can imagine that more than half of the people watching never thought of it that way. They were probably laughing along with it, and but I'm like, wait, but anyway, yeah, that was the one little peep I had, but the overall correction of it, I'm really like, good. What? I'm not mad at you all this time around. Y'all found such a nice and smooth way to smooth that misconception over. Then we of course had Wong,
cameo, the cameo king himself.
Was this his first? Not necessarily because Infinity
He's been
War.
cameoing,
yeah.
But
this is like at the peak of his cameo powers, if you will. And that whole fight, I guess, going back a little to like the dynamics, like him and Abomination, and it's like
so it was cool because the first time I think we've seen Abomination since Hulk.
Yes.
So that's what, like 15 years or something like that. So it was cool to see Abomination, and it was cool to see his character design similar to the comics.
Oh, okay. Okay.
It was cool to see that.
I noticed the change. I didn't know that it's tying closer to the comics, but also the
source material, if you will.
I mean, speaking of nuggets that were dropped and never really followed on, he was talking to him as his trainer, and I'm like, how Wong is training Abomination? Like, what's going on?
What I got was that they fixing fights. So they're in cahoots and they're fixing fights.
But even that, like whatever the relationship is, the fact that there is a relationship for me,
I loved like some maybe like 5-minute video on how they like got
plus
together.
They also stopped those little shorts that Marvel used to drop, and that would have.
And that was also one of the retcons for
with the 10 rings. I remember, you did say,
I think it's on Disney Plus, so go watch it.
Yeah,
it's good.
What is the series called again? It's not Abridged.
No, but I know the thing was called All Hail the King or something like that.
Yeah, but there's a series there.
Yeah,
if you go to like the Marvel
yeah.
section, it's the small little tie-in stories to the movies. That's what we're talking about. Any other cameos you want to shout out from this?
To the Asian actors that I don't know the names of, but I've seen them around.
A few familiar faces. Yeah.
I think what is it? Awkwafina's mom.
Is it?
She's popped up in a few movies.
Okay.
Probably like the old granddad.
By the him.
I feel like he's
familiar.
Around,
I don't know if it's just me, but I felt
And I even feel like the gang that came to kill the mom. There was one of the gens I think was from like Kung Fu Hustle or something. But
damn.
That might be way out of left field, and you will have to fact check me on that.
And Shang-Chi had the poster. Kung Fu. There were two. I couldn't see the other one clearly, but one was Kung Fu Hustle. On his wall there. Yeah. And then he wasn't necessarily a cameo, but for me, he's like, a standout character in his own right. The homie with the blue outfit with the white mask. He was pretty badass, man. Like, every time he just pops, you're like, yo, this guy.
Something's going on.
And I mean, for Shang-Chi, it was a nice little full circle moment as well. We finally got to beat his ass.
But also,
because he was the
how
one
he
whipping
died,
him.
it was like how he died was just like this world beater just well sucked dead.
Because I mean, how else are you gonna kill this lethal dude? And even when the dad came in, like, I told them they were not gonna be able to kill you, something like that. And he's like, I'm glad to see that I was right. Like, such a weird thing. It's like you send people to kill your son, and then you're happy that he won, and
But it's also like, he's always been a father. He's never really had
in his own weird way. Yeah, man. The fight with the dad, that's the one other thing I just want to highlight. Any particular thing you want to like say or mention on that?
Look, that last the last scene, the last little
interaction
between Shang-Chi and his dad, where they make eye contact and he gives him the rings, just hit a little different. And then also like just the two of them trying to reconcile in that fight.
And the fact that he's still got that, catharsis still, and then reconciliation, and then afterwards you move on. Plus, I mean, the dad had also realized that, damn, I was wrong about, the mom being there, and
But also just the fight itself, like how the rings are blue or blue and purple with the dad, but then
then I go orangey with him, and that was pretty cool as well. All right, so at least with the dad, I get you. Like, not only the emotional, resolution of the issues, but even just the rings.
Yeah.
Because there's like that passing on type thing. And remember, he said he wanted to pass, the kingdom over to him. So I guess that also, represented that. And not to mention, once again, man, visually, like the way it just came about, like that was pretty dope. Then at one point, homie's got like the 5, dad's got the 5, and then they
but
find
also,
a way
like,
to just,
when they kill the dweller in the dark and you just see the 10 rings on the chest, and it's like,
dude, not to mention I don't know what the technical term is, man, but like the hand choreography around that, it was pretty dope. Like he was doing all of this, and then next thing, and then it just kills the thing, and I'm like, man, that was actually pretty sick to witness as well. And I think one other thing I want to mention, man, around their relationship, and in terms of, I mean, how many times, the father-son, the back and forths and the challenging dynamic that many of them have. But geez, man, if this is not one of the more heartbreaking examples, I mean...
I think it's because it wasn't like a terrible dynamic. Like, it was more like, pubescent teen not understanding his dad's sorrow, maybe?
But, I mean, even the extent to which his dad pushed him. Remember, the last straw that broke the camel's back was his dad telling him to go and kill someone.
Yeah.
And there was also
not kill someone, kill his mother's killer.
Yeah, avenge the mother. Yeah, it's like, firstly, you're going through this pain, and then saying, it's like, no, you must now go and fix this, Not to mention putting it on him, because he's like, your mother was here, and then
you did nothing.
Yeah, she died in front of you, and you did nothing, And then the flip of him saying, no, I ran away because I couldn't do it. And he's like, nah, I lied when I said I couldn't do it. And he's like, yo, dog. And I mean, not long before then, there was that scene where homie took his son to go kill those guys.
And you just see it right in front of him. Yeah.
Oof. Even the way they filmed that, man, like just showing the kid's
reaction,
face.
yeah.
But in the reflection, you still see everything that's going. And he's like, dog. So for me, it's something like, is this too much for a kid? Like, is this, in as much as you may speak to his intentions, but the actions that followed from there, man, like, I can't blame homie for. If anything, I'm surprised he didn't lose his mind even more. Especially given how well he can whip some ass. Like he could have been a proper troublemaker out there. But I can't help but feel, in a way, of course, feel for both of them.
Yeah.
But certainly a little more for Shang-Chi as a kid. But in a way, it only then serves to intensify the, not necessarily the pity, man, but just how bad I then feel for the sister. Because in a way, it's almost even more compounded.
They had a relationship.
She's now then being isolated in the midst of all this. It's like, hey man, I lost mom too. Like, hey, dad ostracized me too. Long before
and
any of this even happened.
And she didn't get to reconcile with dad as well. She just saw a dead body.
Oh.
She saw a Yamcha.
So, nah, man, they gotta definitely, course correct on that. Not only give us a second Shang-Chi movie, but make it her movie, I think.
You think so?
Because I feel like a lot of the times there's that struggle as far as the sophomore slump, as it were. It's like you come out with a great movie, and of course, it's like origin story. It's a rich area, so many things to touch on. Then it's like after that, what are you gonna do that's anywhere near as interesting? Whereas I think with this one, if she's like the main antagonist, that alone,
fair enough,
is
because she's got the motivation.
Tell me about it, and it's almost like the same thing with the dad, but on a whole other level, going forward. Especially given their final conversation, like you said, like, hey, I'm gonna shut it down. The next thing's like, man, what in the world is going on here? So, but we'll just have to wait and see. Any other final thoughts?
I think that's I'm
then out of 10, what would you give this?
Probably like a 7.
Yeah.
I think 7.5.
I'm gonna go 8 on this one. Technically to some extent the visual aspect does take away some point, but again you must understand the medium at hand can only do so much. But everything else, I'm like, nah, man. It was quite solid. It was pretty dope. The rewatchability of it also is pretty sick.
But also, like, I haven't watched it since we watched it back
then.
So.
It's been a couple of years. And the fact that it intensified my anticipation for the next story, I think speaks to how well, it still holds up. So, I'm going to go 8. Now, with the top 5, right, do you still want to, like, continue on that? Do we do like a post-Endgame thing? Because you're going to be fighting some heavy hitters, you know, if you're going to keep that original.
I think if you keep the top 5. Because the top 5 is the top 5 and it needs to be across the whole thing.
Right.
It's an extended universe. It's all part of one thing. So yeah, if you're amazing, you're an amazing movie, then you will get in.
Nah, fair enough.
But I don't think it's going to crack the top 5.
No, it's not going to crack it.
Maybe like B tier top 5, but...
Like right there by number 6, basically, is where it would chill for me. And then just trying to even recap it, you know, let me see if I can. We said Infinity War number 1, right? Iron Man number 2, is it Homecoming number 3, and then Civil War number 4?
Yeah, and Civil War and Endgame we put on the similar level.
Yeah, Civil War and Endgame, and then
Winter Soldier somewhere in there.
Is probably the last one, right?
Somewhere
there. We'll definitely course correct. Don't sweat it. Other than that, that's pretty much it from our side. You know, shout out for sticking around this long. You know the drill, man. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. You know, drop us the comments. Come on, guys. You surely have some thoughts one way or another as far as, you know, what the hell it is that we're talking about over here. And then, you know, give us a follow on Instagram if you haven't at, you know, the Phantom Geek Zone. And yeah, that's it for now. And as far as what's coming up next, be sure to keep your eye on PGZ. Peace. Yeah, see, we're rusty now. We even like screwed up.